Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at this time. My name is Bart Bartlett here with the lovely Peggy Simpson. We're going to start a watch party here, and we'll be back with you in probably about 45 seconds. So grab you a cocktail or a cup of coffee or a drink of water, and we'll be right back with you.
I'm all set.
Me too. Once again, everyone, welcome to Baby Steps. Peggy Simpson here. I'm Bart Bartlett. Peggy, how is your Tuesday evening going?
Tuesday is going well. How about you?
Yeah, going real well. It's been a good day. I mean, I just want to take a moment before we get into all this and just take a moment to pause and recognize what's going on in this world, because there is just so much that's happening. And here in the States, today has been called Blackout Tuesday. And it's for people that aren't Black to say, we recognize that we really can't understand what you feel, but we support you and we're there for you. I think it's just part of that human existence. It's one thing that Holtenbugs, a guy that you and I both consider somewhat of a mentor, says. He calls it the platinum rule. And that rule is you don't treat people like you want to be treated. You treat someone like you think they want to be treated there. Your thoughts, just real quickly.
Well, it is a somber time in our country, unfortunately. But I shared my thoughts on Facebook yesterday in a fairly long dissertation.
It was beautiful, by the way. It was beautiful.
Thank you. And as you know, this hits me personally, right? Because I have a biracial family. And it's just time, people. It's just time to put your voice to work, put your vote to work, and get people in leadership positions who believe in positive change, who believe in equality and equity for everyone. It's got to happen. We cannot continue this path. We just can't.
And again, it's not just here in the States. We see stuff all over the world that are conflicts such as this. It's just a social norm conflict, whether it's considered, a civil war or whether it's considered a religious war or whatever. It is part of what it is. But at the root of it all is that we all have the same color blood running through our systems.
That's right. We
all our
have
hearts
the same
beat
organs.
to keep us
That's
alive.
Right.
All of our lungs expand and collapse to let us breathe.
That's right.
That's a commonality that goes through every single animal on this earth. Even the pets we have, that's how they stay alive. That's a commonality every animal on this earth has.
And the thing is, think about food, right? If we only had one type of food, we probably
better be
wouldn't
Mexican food, because that's my favorite.
We probably wouldn't be too happy, right?
No.
If we only had one food item, we wouldn't be too happy. If there was only one kind of tree, one kind of insect, that's not the way the world is made.
No.
And neither are people made that way.
Right.
And no one is entitled or superior to anyone else based upon the color of their skin, their ethnicity, their culture, their religion.
Right.
None of it. It's just not. It's just not.
That's right. And you talk that great comment about the food, and one of my thoughts was we have to also recognize that there are people in this world right now that wish they could just have one type of food because they don't have food.
Any food.
Any food.
Right.
And one of the organizations we're associated with has provided millions of meals of proper nutrition to malnourished children. And again, that's something that I cannot comprehend. I see it, I hurt, but I can't internalize it and comprehend it.
Yeah.
But what can I do? I can do whatever I can to help them. And that's what I try to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a really cool thing for us today. I've got a sneak peek at your slides. It's really cool. So why don't you get into it? And we've got a crowd coming up. Alan, Tanisha, Luke over here. Welcome to all you guys.
Oh, and I have Kathleen Reed over here.
Hey,
Welcome,
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Let me take 1 second here and share my screen. I must be technically challenged today because it's not giving me options.
Uh-oh. Let me.
Do you have the screen sharing? Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, I have it turned all turned on.
Okay. Well, I have my files, but it's not.
Do something real quick. I can pull up. It's the same PDF that you sent me. Or have you updated a little bit?
I updated one later this afternoon that I sent you. This is very
from Monday.
Yeah, when I select my share the screen, it's not giving me my screen like it normally does of what files are open.
Right. You mean to share it over here and just drive and use what we have from yesterday?
Did you check your email?
I did. I don't have anything new.
Probably
today.
in your junk mail. Try your junk mail.
Okay, let me try that.
It might be in your junk mail.
No. Nope, nothing there. What I have came at 1:48. This may be it.
Well, we'll go with it.
I don't want
to stall. We'll go with it.
Let's do this, and I will drive the best I can with it.
Okay.
All right, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna have to go back over here and do something else. You're right.
It's not letting
Zoom
you
is not
share
playing
either.
nice today for some reason.
It's not letting you share either.
Here we go. We're gonna try again. There it is.
There we go. Okay. All right. So today we want to talk about how to build your plan and get yourself started in action. So go ahead to the next slide. We'll do a little review here. And while I'm waiting, Brian O'Keefe has joined us as well. So last time, just as a recap, we talked about what's your RAP. And RAP stood for looking at your goals for realistic results, your ability to achieve the goal that you're looking at, and to position your perspective. How badly do you want it? And we talked through a RAP sheet, as you can see here at the bottom of the screen, where there are some questions to allow yourself to evaluate your goals and determine if there are any roadblocks and help you prioritize. These are just tools. The ultimate goal is that after you do this a few times on paper, that it will become automatic for you to process these questions in your mind mentally and prioritize more quickly. But when we're not in that position, the tools can help. So the first thing was to answer the questions, yes, no, or maybe. And there was a score that we talked about to gauge the likelihood of your achieving that goal. And then we said to identify 2s with yellow and 1s with red. Okay, because those represent potential obstacles. And not to say that you should not go forward with a goal that has obstacles, but it gives you pause. Gives you pause to say, is this a critical obstacle for me right now that I'm not sure I can get past? And if so, then maybe I need to tweak this result, because remember the time frame for the results was 3 to 6 months, right? So maybe I need to put this goal on the shelf for a bit until I can overcome and turn this red obstacle into a green light. And depending on the version you have, is the next slide? Yes, great. It shows them a bigger picture of these. So here are a couple of examples that we had talked about last time, and I just arbitrarily answered some questions. So you'll see that they each have 3 yellows, right? And 1 red. And this was coincidence, perhaps, right? But is this the first time you're seeking this result? And that's a 1. No, it's not the first time. Why is that a red? That might not be intuitive to people to say, well, if it's not the first time, then I should be better at it. No, not necessarily. If this is not the first time, if this is something that you have repeatedly tried to achieve and failed, then these yellows probably become a little more critical for you to look at. And you might need to spend a little more time going back through the other times you attempted this goal and answer these questions for those other times mentally, just to see what the roadblock is that you may have missed. There are no guides that I can give you for this part, right? Other than to think through what can turn a maybe to a yes, or what can turn a no to a yes or a maybe. Whatever those steps might be are what your mitigation thoughts need to be. You may have something that's all 3s, and in which case, you might want to just say, I'm going with it. Now, if you have something that's all 3s, and you have a lot of them that are all 3s, then you probably have set your goals too low, perhaps. But again, if this is your first time to approach improvement in yourself, then just go with them.
Right.
Get some wins under your belt. Feel that confidence increase. And the next time or the third time you come at this activity, you're more likely to think about a goal that stretches you a little farther, because you'll be more confident. You will have mitigated some of these smaller speed bumps, and you'll be ready, right? Life is a journey. Success is also a journey, and it's not a linear path by any stretch of the means. And some of these, even as much as you give a good analysis to it, you still may come short of the goal, but keep pushing forward. Go ahead to the next slide. Okay, so out of those rap sheets, let's say you have your top 2 goals that you're going to work on in this next 90 days to 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Now, we said don't load yourself up with 5, 6, 7 of these guys, because you'll spread yourself too thin. So with your top 2, take each one at a time, right? And now you're going to start planning the tasks. Now we're finally going to get to the how are you going to achieve the goal. And you're going to really reverse engineer it, starting from the end of what you want to achieve, and work your way backwards, right? And you're going to put the time factor in there. And now is where the rubber starts to meet the road. If you want to go to the next slide, I hope there's an example. Okay, this might be where we had a difference in the slides. We'll see. So you want to list all the tasks that it takes to accomplish it. Can you flip just for a second to the next slide? Is there an example? Okay, go ahead back.
Okay.
So you're going to list the tasks at first. So if you're trying to get $500 more a month, you have to start thinking about, how am I going to get that? Right? Well, you got to find a means to earn it. If you want to lose 10 pounds in this next month, then you have to start thinking about your diet, your exercise, your sleep patterns, right? How are you going to achieve? Now is the time to start thinking about the how. That's what the tasks are. And you think about how long will it take you to do those tasks for some things. For example, if you're going to exercise, how long is it going to take you? If you want to earn an extra $500 a month and you're talking about doing something where you're going to trade your time for money, how many hours are you going to have a month to devote to that? That's going to drive the kind of things that you're going to look for. Are you going to look for being a driver for Good Eats or DoorDash? Because you can drive at will whatever time you want to, and you can earn, there are peak times when you earn more than other times. You're going to have to answer those questions for yourself, but lay them out in a timeline. And if you will, go ahead to the next slide. So this is just an example. I took the 10 pounds because it was an easy one to lay out. So you see, I've got the 4 weeks of the month, right? Because I'm only going to look at this month because that was my goal. I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of the month. So I know I'm going to have to reduce my calories. I checked the calorie counter and it says I need to be 1,200 calories per day, right? And I should eliminate carbs and avoid sugar and processed foods. So that I didn't fill this out entirely, but that's something that you're going to need to pay attention to, right? So then you start thinking, okay, well, how am I going to count my calories? Well, I'm going to find an app for tracking calories on my phone to make it easy for myself. Otherwise, I can go look up the calories for every food and write them on a piece of paper if you're not a technology person and don't have a phone that has apps. But you're going to track your calories with each meal. And you need to make sure that you drink water every day and you're going to exercise. These are the tasks that you put out there. When you say you're going to exercise 30 minutes, 3 days a week, you don't stop there. This is something that does consume an amount of time. So what you have to do is look at each week. Do it now while you're planning. You can tweak it. If something comes up, you can tweak it. But if you don't lay it out and you just leave it, well, I'm going to exercise 30 minutes, 3 days a week. I'll choose whichever day when I get there. What's going to happen? It's not going to happen, right? You're not going to go do it. So put your times, and you notice they're not the same times across every week. They don't have to be, right? And then you want to measure your success. And that's what weighing on the scale is. Measure your success. So I've talked a long time here. Bart, I'm going to throw it back to you. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go back up to this because this was so powerful. Because I think many of us will answer that question, is this the first time you're seeking this result, as no. It's not the first time. And so as you were walking us through this, what came up so vivid for me is then to go back and look at all of those yellows that I may have. And what did I do last time when I attempted this? Like, do you have sufficient time? Maybe the answer isn't so much, or the question isn't so much, did I have sufficient time, as much as how well did I use the time I allocated for this? So look at all those yellows, because what this said to me is that if this is not the first time you've tried this, those yellows are really in danger of becoming reds.
Yep. And maybe they're not just maybes. Maybe they really are no's.
And they may become, oh, hell no's pretty soon if you're not careful.
They might. You know? And I'm glad you came back here, because there was one thing I failed to mention. You mentioned it last time, that when you get down to some of these last questions,
right,
it's a much deeper question to think about. And particularly if you have a yellow or a red in either of these last two, I would strongly suggest you rethink the goal.
Right.
Make it more specific, or put it aside for later and look at something that will give you a better success, better achievement, build your confidence first.
Right.
And as you get there, you may find things that will allow this yellow to become a green.
Right. In fact, that next to the bottom one there, are you willing to do whatever it takes? That question is really asking you, Are you willing to get out of your comfort zone and stay out of your comfort zone for an extended period of time?
That's right. That's right. Because change is uncomfortable,
It is.
right? And yet we say we want it,
Mhm.
but I would suggest from my own personal experience, right? We say we want it, but when it comes down to it, we don't want it bad enough
Right.
to do the work to get it.
Yes, exactly. And if you're willing to do whatever it takes, to me, that also means you're willing to take a step back and say, who can I find to be my mentor, my coach? Because I realize I need some help to get past all this, to get through it all. Maybe someone who's done it before, or someone who's done something similar before. Yeah. This was really, this is probably one of the most powerful things I've ever seen develop. So, congratulations to you. This is
Oh, thank
really
you.
a genius piece of work. It truly is with
Thank
that.
you. And there are probably hundreds, an infinite number of questions, right, that
Right.
you can ask. This was intended to just be a set of questions to get your mind thinking about where some of the most critical obstacles might be, some of the more easy to recognize obstacles might be, and these last ones, again, just because from my own experience, I know if I don't want it bad enough, I'm probably not going to put the effort in it to do it.
Right. I just had a weird thought with this. It'd be kind of a cool activity. If you're not really sure how to get started, the way Peggy's laid this out, you'll see it's a dark gray and then a white row, dark gray, white. Cut each one of those rows up and put them into a pile, mix them up, and pick one up and look at that one question by itself. Don't look down this thing linear. Look at it by itself and then put it immediately into the 1, 2, or 3 category. And watch as you're doing that, which pile gets the biggest.
That's
And that may
interesting.
tell you
I've never thought about that.
I just
That's a
happened to
neat
see
idea.
that. Yeah, I happened to see that and I thought, wow, that would be a neat activity. And then with each pile, maybe the order of, preference there, the order of weight. If you have 3 things that are yellow, is there a cause effect to those 3 things that are yellow?
Yeah, it gives you a visual, gives
Yeah.
you a different visual.
This is
Yeah,
really
good
powerful.
thought.
Really
Good thought.
powerful. Yeah.
Good thought. Well, once you get your plan, you are ready to rock and roll.
Mhm. I love this. I love this. And this
And
is
this,
something, everyone needs a calendar. Everyone needs a calendar to do this
Yeah.
kind of stuff with.
yeah, but it's simple. You
Mhm.
don't have to be a master project planner, right? Or a certified Microsoft project planner to build a little task plan to accomplish your goal. And if you have a 6-month goal, right, your timeline's going to be a little longer. So start with bigger chunks, right? When you reverse engineer to something you want to achieve in 6 months, work it back a month at a time and say, what do I have to achieve in 5 months, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, and then work each one of those. And I would suggest work the tasks to a detail at this level 1 month at a time.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't try to detail all your tasks all the way out, because as you start your journey, you're going to have to evaluate, measure your success, and take some course correction.
Right. And using this one example here, let's say on June 7th, you realize you're not at the desired weight you want to be at the end of week 1. So you make some modifications. And for me, there's 2 obvious places immediately. You could either reduce your daily calorie count by 100 calories, which may not be the healthiest one, or you can increase your exercise by 10 minutes or add a 4th day.
Right. Or if you didn't reach it, you look back and say, up here, I don't have any activities, but if you count them and you look and it said 1,500, 2,000, 900, then what you want to say to yourself is, next week, I'm going to stay the course, but I need to be more consistent with task 1.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah. Stay the course, be more consistent with task 1. And then, like you said, if you are consistent with your tasks and you're not hitting the results, then you may have to course correct. Then you
Right.
may want to look at this and, maybe even, consult somebody else to say, hey, what am I missing? When I look at this, it looks like I'm being consistent, or do I have to, what kind of exercise am I doing?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was
Do I have to
something you
change up my
mentioned,
exercise.
several weeks ago on one of the books that you profiled for us. There's two key words to all this: consistency and persistency.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
Yep.
the two key
The
words.
only way you achieve any kind of success, any kind of change, is by being consistent
Right.
and being persistent.
Right.
Yeah. I have to hand it. My husband used to smoke, and he used to smoke a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah. Probably 2.5 packs a day at
Wow.
his worst time, at his peak time. And he told me he was going to quit. And he told me that over and over and over, right? Many times.
Mhm.
And he didn't. He might quit for a few days and he'd pick it back up. But one year, and this has been, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago now,
Mhm.
he was sitting at the table outside and he said, I'm done. And he never looked back.
Wow.
He never picked up another cigarette.
Wow.
He never looked back, not one time. If he felt it internally,
Mhm.
he wasn't grumpy, he wasn't cranky. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's my classic example.
Mhm.
You have to want it.
Yep.
You have to want it bad enough to do whatever it takes
Right.
to make it. If you want it bad enough, you can make it.
Yep.
You absolutely can make it. So I hope this little session that we've had talking about, committing to yourself and identifying results that you want to achieve and giving you some tools to be able to assess which results you ought to go after that are most critical for you right now in the short term. I hope that it's helpful for people. I've really enjoyed sharing it, and I appreciate you all allowing me to share it. And hopefully within this year, I'll be able to share the whole book.
Yeah. You have one more slide left. Shall we see it? Or is it a surprise?
I don't think it's a surprise. Go ahead.
There we go. Get started. There it is.
Right. I want to wish everybody the best at working through their journey. Make sure you measure your results. And that third bullet is extremely important.
That's right.
Make sure you celebrate.
Right.
Celebrate every win. Even if you didn't reach your goal, there has to be some things you won at, right? So if your goal in that example we were just looking at was to lose 10 pounds and you lost 9,
Celebrate.
hats off. Hats off. Celebrate and reevaluate, tweak your course, and move through to the next 30 days.
In fact, I would even go as far as say, just like you have an accountability partner to get you where you want to be, find someone different to be your celebration partner.
Huh?
Because you don't want them to be giving any judging, just say, we're going to go out here and celebrate. And it can be a different person each time, but find a celebration partner, someone to tell them your successes.
And write them down.
And write
Keep
them
a
down.
journal.
Exactly.
Or keep a jar.
Mhm.
And write your wins in a jar, just like we've talked about a gratitude, having a jar and writing your gratitude things, or a journal, writing the things that you're grateful for. Make note of your wins, make note of your successes.
Absolutely.
Even if you think they're so small, I'm gonna tell you what, at the end of 30 days, at the end of 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, as you see those documents increasing that volume and you go back through them, you'll think to yourself, yeah, that's right, I did do that. I forgot all about the fact that I did that. And it will just give you a huge boost of confidence.
Absolutely. Want to welcome Linda and Erica and give you guys a heads up for what's ahead. First thing is the time for this is going to change to this time. It's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central, and we'll be continuing with that. But then next week, or no, regular this Thursday, this coming Thursday, it's my turn to share some content with you. I want to say, Peggy, this has been amazing. You've set the bar so high with this one. I cannot wait for your book to come out, for us to be able to really deep dive into it. But my next piece, my part of Baby Steps, is your 4 steps to empowerment. And I asked the question, does your IPEG need an upgrade? And IPEG is an acronym, and you have to come and learn what that acronym is. But it's 4 steps to take to really create empowerment for yourself in order to put your mind into the right reference point, right frame, to where you really start to create some successes there.
Well, you've got my curiosity up. I can't wait. And I haven't had the privilege of seeing any slides yet. So,
but they'll be coming tomorrow, so you'll see them ahead of time. And
all right.
What we'll do is I'm going to shoot for doing 2 of the letters each day, but we may only get through 1 depending where we go. And just like with Peggy, there's an exercise, a self-evaluation piece for you to look at something. I will give you a hint. One of the things that's going to happen is you're going to learn how to tell your own story, because telling your story is what's really critical.
Yeah.
So we're going to learn that. So Peggy, as always, it's been an amazing 30 minutes we spent together. I so appreciate you, what you brought to the group today with your personal look at the way the world is today. And I just want to say this, and I know you know I mean this truly. If we had more Peggy Simpsons in the world, it'd be a better world.
Oh, you're too kind. And
No,
the
it's
same
true.
back to you. The same back to you.
It's true.
Just, remember what Bart said, treat people the way they want to be treated.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way you think they want to be treated may be way off base.
I think about that sheriff in Flint, Michigan, that said, "Let's don't protest, let's have a parade." And he walked down the streets with them.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about that celebration of, I see you for who you are. That's exactly what it is.
And use your voice for good. Use your voice, use your vote, whatever your preference is, whatever you, wherever you live, in whatever country, right? If you have an opportunity to vote, use your vote. But if you don't have a voting process, use your voice. Get involved in a group that stands for the equality and equity that you believe in.
Right.
Because we can all do something. We can all do something. And together we can do a lot.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, see you guys again on Thursday. Peggy, thank you so much. Everyone go out and make it an amazing Tuesday night, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.